Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. This is video 10, the continuance of doing the colorful butterfly that we've been working on. We're working on the upper wing. Right now, I'm getting ready to work with the arrow ones. I'm hoping now with the different source of lighting that I have that it continues to enhance my videos and make it enjoyable for the viewers, because you can see better from the underside of the butterfly and it brings it out better. The upper light, when I was using it on my previous videos, it created a lot of shine on the adhesive and made it harder for me to see, and I would assume harder on viewers as well. Those two happen to be stuck together. I keep asking people to look for my eBay store link, only to become aware that until I am monetized, it won't even allow the link to show up. So, if you could subscribe and like my video and watch them to help monetize them quicker, that would be very much appreciated. So we're working on, like I said, a lot of pinks now. I really do believe that you can really see the videos a lot better. So another thought I had was to discontinue the upper light to see if that's more helpful. When I've had my videos on at night, I have to admit with the upper lighting, it is very bright if you are trying to sleep. And I actually keep my screen at a lower light setting at all times, more on a night mode. So this is a little interesting because I'm grabbing the dots in a semi-darkened type of way. But as you can see, this area is very clear, like you can really see. I would very much like some feedback on what is more preferred with the overhead light off and more of just the underlighting, so you can see as each dots gets placed onto the corresponding symbol. So far, there's only been like one comment on 1 or 2 comments on my video. So I would be very interested in knowing what people think. Well, sometimes it's quite a challenge picking these up. I don't know where all these other ones are coming from unless they're sticking to my again, it reminds me of a stylus. I'm not sure what the technical term is. If anybody wants to tell me, feel free. As with any new job or hobby, all terms are different depending on the job and or hobby. Am I still within? No, I think I went out of your vision. So how about these? I think these are within. Sorry about that. Did not mean to work outside of the scope of the camera. Again, to do a nice up-close detail, it gives you a smaller working frame for the viewers to see. I think, oh, I just dumped those. Well then. Oh, what a day. So, one of the things that someone suggested was when you dump them, just pick them up with your finger like this. I think they went under the cellophane. Regardless, I hope everyone's having a good day and things are going well for you. We are having another hot and muggy day here in the Northeast. I am located in New York. As I said, not far from the border of Pennsylvania. Earlier today, sorry there's nothing going on to view, I'm picking up these dots. Earlier today, they were filling potholes where I live. Thank goodness. All I can say is the weather has been raising havoc with the roads. Of course, it doesn't help that New York State uses salt on their road. Pennsylvania does not do that because they discovered that salt will melt during the winter run into the cracks, and then as it refreezes, it destroys the road. And that's exactly what's happening in New York State. Okay, so next we're going to work on the lines here. So, Pennsylvania used to use ash, which worked great, really great. I think I mentioned in the early videos of the butterfly that I grew up where we burnt wood, and we were on a dirt road, and we had a dirt driveway that was semi-steepish. And during the winter, when we would empty our wood stove ash pan, it would get sprinkled on the driveway to help with tractions of the vehicle. And it worked very well like that. For anyone who is interested in some facts, if you have a driveway that you don't want grass to grow on, if you empty a lot of ash onto it, it will stop plants from growing. Ash is a natural source of potassium, and if it's used too much, like per se in compost, it will cause a lot of leaf growth, but not necessarily any budding of vegetables, you know, to grow vegetables. And then when used in extreme amounts, as per dumping it on driveways, the potassium levels get to such a point that the plant cannot pull up enough nutrients for anything else, and nothing will grow in it. So we also lived where it was clay soil. Like during the summer when it rained, if your shoes stuck in the clay, it would suck right off your foot. That's how bad it was. And if the clay dried, it was very, very hard. Like you could use it as a weapon. It's so hard. And it would dry like a rock. And if you threw it, a lot of times it wouldn't even break. That's how strong clay soil can be. Not sure if that's still within the screen. I'm hoping it is. Maybe today is not a good day for filming. You know, sometimes you have those days where things just don't seem to mesh together well. I'm trying. I really am. I really wanted to do one with the background the way it is, with the light, because I really wanted to see how it would affect the video. So hence one of the reasons why I'm filming it. Okay, this is the line. All right, right here's one. Definitely coming together. trying to decide if I'm going to frame this or not, and how would I frame it. Like, I think a mat should definitely be used, and it would go over the border and go inside of a frame, but I don't want to use any glass. Maybe I'll just go ahead and fold it over and sew it down. I have a 1930s hand cranked Singer sewing machine. If you like to sew denim, denim fabric, I recommend old Singer, because I can do 6 layers of denim and it will go through it like butter. When I've tried to use electric sewing machines, once you get it doubled, and some of them triple, the needle will hit and the motor will just go and it won't go through it. But I've never had problems with either the treadled ones or with the hand crank Singer. Mine is the portable 1930s, late 20s, maybe early 30s hand crank. I had a treadle one that my daughter helped refinish because it was frozen. Okay, I think that's all of the lines. I think we're going to go back to the arrows again, these ones here. My daughter helped refinish and unfroze the motor. It was treated so poorly. And when she got done with it, it was absolutely gorgeous. However, I couldn't use it anymore, even though that's how I learned to sew. I actually learned to sew on a floor model treadle machine, Singer, because I had knee surgery, and every time I would try to use it, my knee would swell up. So I had to get rid of it. It was sad. I was just pleased that I could get a hand crank one, and I bought that off eBay. And the nice thing about the really old Singer machines is if you happen to knock it out of alignment on the stitching, you can watch videos and put it back in easily by yourself, unlike electric machines where they have to be serviced by technicians. And also, the old machines have way more power than any electric because they're made out of steel. They're actually made out of steel with bolts. You can take them apart, you can oil them. You can use them even if you don't have any electricity around. Oh, I just knocked that around right there. For whatever reason, this one particular color is just giving me all kinds of problem on the tray. This is the same one that I had dumped. So And as I said, I've done a lot of different crafts. I also have even weaved before. I had a floor loom that I ended up always standing to use because I'm a short person. And trying to sit down to do it was very uncomfortable. And I found it okay. A bit time consuming though when you're doing your warps and your wefts, because you have to set it up. So it was a bit time consuming, and at the time I was really busy with working a lot of hours. So I decided that after I used it a while that I was done using it. Floor looms do take up quite a bit of space. And as I said, I didn't really have the space to keep something around and store it just because. And now I wouldn't be able to do it anyways. It would require way more standing than my hips or my knee would have tolerated. And so that's why I had chosen the diamond art, because it allows you to sit. That's what it boils down to. If I could stand, yeah, I missed one right there. If I could stand and walk up and down stairs, I'd probably be working on my eBay store. Yeah, to me it was a bad experience. To others, it may not matter at all to them. I'm not a fan of Amazon. I mentioned that before. You know, everybody has their likes and dislikes. One of the things I got burnt with Amazon was the fact that they do third-party selling. And I had bought an item, and maybe for some people they wouldn't feel that the item was expensive. I felt it was a little more on the expensive side. And anyways, as the story goes, well, it was defective. It did not work like it was promised to work. So I tried to return it. I couldn't get them to come get it. When they finally got it, they didn't give me a refund. I complained to my credit card and got it reversed, and even then they only gave me a partial refund. Really soured my experience. And another reason why I'm not a fan of Amazon is because I feel that they treat their workers poorly, and I'm against that. I feel that workers should have the right to unionize if they want, and being that of a physical labor worker, I understand the value of being paid decently and treated properly, because it's hard work. Anyways, so I had bought off from eBay thinking that I had ordered these items from another eBay seller, and come to find out they were a third-party seller. Yeah, I was not happy at all. I my opinion of third-party sellers, they're like cockroaches. They get into your stuff. They cause more cost that is unnecessary. They ship direct from a company that if I had wanted to, I would have bought from the company myself. And then I couldn't even track it because the item didn't show up. It said that it was delivered, but it was 12 hours down the line. I wasn't happy. So I lodged a formal complaint with eBay concerning it. I find it pretty insulting considering all the work I do to be an eBay seller. And I just feel that if they're a third-party seller, that it has to be disclosed on their store. That they're not allowed to that as a consumer, I have a right to know that they're doing it third party. In fact, when I buy from Facebook Marketplace, I won't buy anything that has to be shipped because I don't know if they're a third-party seller. At least if it's local, I know that I'm buying from a person. And that's what I prefer. So it looks like now we got the L's. And we're gonna shift this down to do the wing tip. We're almost done with this large wing tip. I don't know if other people have any feelings about that, you know, like bad experiences. Like I said, you can only base it on your experience and growing up old-fashioned where the only products that were available is either you bought direct from a company or you went to the store and bought it. I will admit the only hard part about this is I can't tell if the diamond is up. Well, they're really not diamonds. That's a really misleading name, but if the plastic dots are upside down or flat. Really hard to see without another light on. Very satisfying to see that the spaces are getting filled in. They do have a lining tool where it allows you to line them up. However, I just use the tip and shift it around. You would think if they're made out of metal, they seem to be a pair to be well made as far as that goes. So it allows you to do the shifting with your tool. I hope that didn't sound like a rant. I think one of the reasons that that particular incident really upset me was trying to contact the post office. You see, there's the little trick. If at any reason you ever order a package and it doesn't show up when it tells you that it's been delivered, sometimes the delivery people actually deliver it to the wrong address. So I have quite a relationship with my post office people because, as I said, I'm an eBay seller. I'm known to deliver at least one package every day. So I print up the label and package the item at home and then take it to the post office to be delivered. And so I had this package that showed up at my house. It had the right house number, but it was one street over from me. It wasn't my street. And I took it to my carrier lady, and I was like, hey, not my job to deliver you guys' packages to the wrong house. And she of course laughed and shook her head, and you could see that it was the wrong street. And so she put a note on it. You're not gonna believe this, but the package beat me home. So the person that re-delivered it brought it back to my house. And so when I went back, I had to wait the weekend because guess what? It was the weekend. I couldn't take it right back. And I gave it to her again, and she was laughing and shaking her head. She's like, man. I'm like, yeah. I go, it beat me home. I go, and they delivered it to my house again. And so the moral of the story is some carriers don't watch what they're doing and they deliver it to the wrong street or the wrong house. And if you report it right away, like you can call the United States Postal Service and notify them that you were notified that the package arrived, but it's not at your house. And they will immediately contact the carrier. And many carriers will remember what packages they're delivering. They'll immediately start searching out the package. And if they've delivered it to the wrong house, it will still be in their mailbox or wherever, and they will get it and take it directly to the right house. Yeah. So it pays to be vigilant about that. And that's what I tried to do, only to discover it was not a United States Postal Service tracking number, and I had no way to know who it was coming from, to let alone contact the company to say, hey, where's my package? So that's the story, which is probably why it really upset me, because when you're spending several $100s on something to try to create a business, because to me it's a business investment, it's really upsetting when you have no way to find out what happened to it. And to get a lame response the seller, I mean, why would they care? They're a third party. You're lucky if they're making $3-4 on it. Believe it or not, third party sellers do not make large money on the items. They only want to do it because they are lazy. They do not want to keep inventory. So that way they don't have to store or keep inventory. Which I will give a shout out to an eBay seller and a content creator who is on YouTube. His name is Rockstar Flipper. He does a fulfillment by eBay store now, very similar to what Amazon does. And of course, there are fees associated with it, just like Amazon has. Being a reseller has fees. It creates jobs and it creates business opportunities for many people who may otherwise struggle to make another income, which is why I really don't mind resellers who actually do the work. They go out, they source the items, and then they resell them. Whereas companies mass produce cheap items and make money off from it, it's just another form of a business opportunity, especially for us older people. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get a job as an older person because many companies don't want to deal with elderly people who have health problems or have other issues. And reselling, sourcing items and reselling makes an opportunity for them. And since nothing is ever free, it's not like all these items come to these people and they're just siphoning off from everyone else. No, that's not the case. They pay for the items, they take items home, they clean the items up, they have to store the items, they get on eBay and do listings, and then when it sells, they have to ship the items. It's not easy and it's not free. But if they make a few dollars off doing it, and it's something that they're capable of doing, and they can't find job opportunities, you have to really walk in other people's shoes to understand the challenges that they may face, to understand that things may not be what they seem. I know that there are people who really dislike resellers. And as I said, now that I'm facing so many surgeries, I struggle even to do my own store in my own house because of my physical limited capacity at this point. So, before criticizing others, maybe you should put forth a little bit of listening skills and try to be understanding and compassionate. And ask the person, well, why do you do it? All right, well, that concludes video 10. I'm going to turn the light on so I can do a pull away of the work that's done. And of course, adjust this. And there we are almost done. We have this area to work on and to get that done. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a great evening. See you next time.